All right, this is the Low Static Podcast, GIB and Survivalist. Special guest today, special episode. This is Finland to worldwide. We got my man Seron dialing in from Sao Paulo, I guess, in Brazil. Is that the city that you're based in?
Yeah, we live in Sao Paulo. We've been here since 2005, 2006. Yeah.
Okay. That's quite a, and that's man. So you did pandemic there. I mean, you didn't see some life there, man. I mean, how often you get back to Sweden? Is that you touch different?
So, I mean, I live here with my family. My wife's Brazilian. We have two daughters. So obviously, going to Sweden is sort of a project. But we've managed to come home once a year. So in the middle of the year, like the Swedish summer, we touched down every year. So yeah, a bit of meeting friends and family and eating some Swedish food, going to IKEA, stuff like that. Yeah.
Do they have IKEA in Brazil at least? I would imagine.
No, they don't. They don't. No, they're not. They haven't made it here yet.
That must be like the only place in the world that doesn't have IKEA.
Probably.
I feel like they've conquered the world. Well, this is really, it's always special to get to know people, but it's really a special affinity, when you feel like you meet with kinfolk, and I think just to really shout you out, brother. I mean, you're doing it right. I mean, this is for us, like what we see you doing is gold standard hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Not just, I don't mean just living in the past, but you're true to the past, and you keep on moving the craft forward. So we're excited, man. This is really, I mean, a special intersection between Nordic influences, between Cali influences. I mean, that's exactly the lane we want to be digging into, and just really going there for your background. Obviously, coming up in Sweden, so what part of Sweden are you from? I think you're sounds like you were from the West Coast, from your song. You were from the West Coast of Sweden or something like that.
Yeah. So I was born in Gothenburg, which is the west coast of Sweden, but we moved when I was around 2. We moved to the Stockholm area. So my dad was a pastor in a Pentecostal church. Yeah. And back then, as a pastor, you would move around. You'd stay like in a congregation for 2-3 years, and then you'll move on. So I kind of grew up as a nomad, So when people ask me, like Swedes ask me, so where are you from? I say, well, I'm from Sweden. I'm like from everywhere. So I've lived in the north, I've lived in the south, I've lived in the west and the east, and now I'm not even in Sweden. So my roots in a way are nowhere but everywhere. I settle in any place. So that's me. I like to transit between worlds, and but of course Sweden is my home country. That's where I got my that's where I was brought up.
Yeah. How do your kids connect with Sweden? I mean, you guys got like Swedish flags in the home and everything, or I mean, what's their kind of sensibilities to the culture?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So if I would turn the camera, you would see a dollar horse right here. Of course, they have the fortune or maybe misfortune to have a dad who is a teacher, a Swedish teacher. So I really emphasize Swedish culture. I do not want them to lose that. Yeah. And Sweden is definitely a part of their lives. I mean, they were born here, they grew up here, but they speak fluent Swedish. They watch Swedish TV. They read Swedish stories. They go to Sweden. They have Swedish cousins, grandparents. So Sweden is a big part of their life. But it's not the only part of their life. So they are mixed.
Yeah. We definitely got the Swedish affinity. My grandmother was actually from Åland. So definitely got the Swedish speaking in my family as well. And my aunt actually lives in Stockholm right now. But we actually had homie. Actually, Servanas can speak on this. I mean, just to let you know how we even stumbled across your stuff, man. Servanas, you want to pick that?
Yeah, so me and Giabi both in this kind of cultural and musical movement in Finland called the Wildfire Movement. And and I actually work for that movement. We have a studio and a clubhouse and everything. So one of my colleagues called Jonathan, he tipped me off, and he sent me a link to your Instagram. And by the way, han är också svenskspråkig, so he is Swedish, from a Swedish area in Finland. So we have this little Finland Sweden thing going on in the house. But he tipped me off, and I went to look at your stuff. And whenever somebody mentions Project Blood in a song or a freestyle fellowship, then I know there's a man of culture there. So we kind of then I sent right away to GIB like, hey, check this guy out, he's doing it right, he's really technical, and he got the raw boom bap as well. So that's how we kind of got interested. And I mean, that's such a great, it was such a, especially calling out freestyle fellowship, I mean, that was really this LA Renaissance. I mean, there was something really magical going on then. And I don't know, so where did that even come to your attention and all that? I mean, I don't know if you ever been to the States, or how did you, how were you dialed into that scene? I mean, that, because we're really setting up, talking about your single, this West Coast Flows. I mean, that thing was fire. I mean, definitely people need to check that out. We'll put that in the links and all that. But, you tell a little bit about that story, but could you kind of unpack that? Because maybe that's a unique story there.
Yeah. So I grew up basically in the countryside in Sweden, and during the 80s, 90s. Yeah. So my exposure to hip hop culture would be very limited and limited to what, like radio would pass on, or maybe a friend of a friend would know something about rap or hip hop. So I slowly started to dig into hip hop in the 90s. My first rap CD was Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style. So that was West Coast already there in a way. But I wouldn't discover like the distinction and the peculiarities of West Coast underground hip hop until mid 90s or end of the 90s. One of my main gates to get to know that kind of hip hop, that kind of playful hip hop that I would say that West Coast rap, really is distinguished by, is through Razzcast. So I was introduced to Soul on Ice, and that was one of those albums that blew your mind. Like, it's possible to rap in that way. I mean, it's just so technical, so skillful, so musical, offbeat, onbeat. There's something going on there that, it's just different. So that opened my mind to a different kind of flow. Definitely.
So it was definitely, it was the style. Was it also, were they saying something different? Because they all, these dudes are prolific. I mean, philosophers and all this sort of thing. I mean, how much of that were you absorbing? You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many like deep cut references and stuff, or was it more the patterns that first was getting your attention?
So I mean, Razzcast, he says, like, my secular metaphysical theology is fatal. So you would have someone who would, really oppose like organized Christianity, and he would say things like, I would go to Catholic school to turn into a Catholic fool, something like that. So
all right.
He has a big portion of animosity towards, I would say, organized religion. I think Razzcast is a spiritual person, or at least, I mean, if he says metaphysical theology, there's something going on there, some kind of conviction of in a deeper sense, and he's very political, ideological. But I would pick up, when it comes to Razzcast, I'd say I'd pick up more on the flow. He would influence me I mean, the rhyme pattern, the roller coaster rhyme pattern of Raskaz, and the way he would finish the bar, not necessarily rhyming on like the last bar. That is something. That's something also that I think is it opens up the flow. And I think Raskaz was one of the forerunners in that perspective. In that sense.
Yeah, the last line doesn't have to rhyme, basically, and I guess that, you know, thinking about then how that, like, how did you absorb that, and then because were you already dabbling in rap or trying to express it prior to that, or you were just still kind of on this sort of, I'm just absorbing all of this and still kind of on a journey to figure out like how you're going to express yourself, or were you already rapping at that stage, or when did you really start getting in the game yourself?
So I would write my first rhymes around maybe 94, something like that. And when I discovered Raskaz, or when I was introduced to Raskaz, I was already rapping. And I was in the middle of a discovery, so I would listen to anything that I understood was, you know, this is the ish, you know. You know, East Coast, West Coast, it didn't matter to me. Like, I'd listen to Keith Murray, Redman, a lot of Redman, Organized Confusion, you know, Bush Babies, you know.
Oh, Bush Babies,
it's like real New York, East Coast.
For sure.
Wu-Tang, who I mentioned.
And listening to that, you were listening to that all yourself, or were you already starting to connect with local folk who were doing were running in the same direction? Like your friend circles also had the same soundtrack, or how was that? Who were you finding there, or did you have to kind of create that space there?
So when I was 13, we moved to a city in the west of Sweden called Åmål, a city of 10,000 inhabitants, which was a big place for me, coming from a village of 300 people, where I had discovered Snoop Dogg. And there I met a guy who was also into hip hop. He listened to Bone Thugs and Harmony. But we kind of went on a journey together. You know, internet was breaking, so we would go into like the local high school and, you know, go into these hip hop forums. We print thousands of lyrics of any rap group we would find. We didn't even know who they were. Like really starting to discover hip hop as a culture together. So we were two strange dudes in a city, you know, where very few, I would say, listen to hip hop. So Raskaz was a part of that discovery.
No doubt.
Definitely.
But then eventually you started to find your way to form some type of crew there. And I mean, where did that jump come? In the same city context, or is that where you started to just go further in your craft?
So my best friend was also turned into a DJ. He got like a home studio. I hooked up with some friends, with some people during high school who were doing beats. And then I met this guy in another city in Sweden, today a recognized established rapper called Organismen, one of Sweden's main rap artists, influential. We met on the internet, like on an internet forum, rhyme forum. We were rhyming in English, and we invited him to come down to our city. We started to record simple stuff, home studio stuff, and this was like in 98, 97, and 96, 97,
Was the rap scene in Sweden more in English at that time, or was it, because there's different chapters, I think, in some of these countries, even in Finland, maybe first they started trying to rap in English, and then when did people start rapping in Swedish in the same type of patterns and all that?
Yeah. So you would have, you wouldn't have loads of hip hop going on in Sweden, like acts, really. You would have one of the main ones were Latin Kings, which is a Swedish Latin rap group, and they would rap in Swedish. And then you would have some Stockholm rappers like Petter, Ken, Ayo, besides the Natural Bond crew who rapped in English, people like Thomas Rushak. You would also have some Americans who lived in Sweden who rapped. Living in Stockholm. But I think it was kind of like hip hop was waking up in the middle of the 90s. It was kind of, and all of a sudden it exploded. Yeah. And one of the things that made it explode was the kind of the conquering of Swedish as a rap language, and of course the Stockholm artists would make it popular. Yeah. But I think maybe we made it like, let's say, we placed it in the underground scene. We made it a part of the underground scene. So definitely English and Swedish was going on at the same time, but Swedish made it turn bigger. Yeah.
And the underground scene, like how much of that was in these sort of online forums, like you're saying, you're meeting a lot of people there, versus were there certain institutions, like for example, in the States, because I grew up in LA, but we're living in, my mom's from Finland, so we be bouncing back and forth and all that, and now I'm out here. But at that time, I would trade time between New York, LA, and Finland, and there were certain institutions like Fat Beats, like in New York and LA. You could just go in there, and now you're connected to the community. Like you're meeting people, and you walk out with homies. You know what I'm saying? Like from strangers to homies. Yeah. But I don't know if they had those type of institutions. And even like when in Finland there was some record shops and stuff like that. But I don't know in Sweden, what was the underground kind of looking like from an institution standpoint?
Sure. So there would be a few record shops in Stockholm, and I can't really remember the name of them, but at least two of them that would gather people. In Gothenburg as well, there were a few places. We had a friend who was kind of from the reggae raga scene, and he opened a shop in the middle of Gothenburg. So we would basically go down there, take the train down to Gothenburg, spend all the money that we had on vinyl, wow. Anything that we could find, and then come back to our city and be strange again, picking up clothes from like Tommy Hilfiger or Fat Farm, those brands.
Okay, so that was coming out this. Okay,
brands that we would see in the Source, or Hip Hop Connection.
Did they have Echo Unlimited? Was that fun in Sweden?
No,
they didn't have that at the time. Yeah,
not really. No.
Okay, but. Tommy Phil.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that would be one of the, of course, that would be one of the venues where hip hop would happen. But for me, hip hop was connected to jams. So you would have big jams like where you would all of a sudden find out. You would meet people from all over the country who were into the same kind of music as you. You just connected with people from everywhere. That was, I would say, that was the place where people met at the big jam.
Was that like word of mouth type of stuff, or was it like these were like on like regular cycles? Oh, we all know to meet up every quarter such and such?
Yeah. So there would be kind of big events. I mean, I went to a jam in the city of Lund, close to Malmö in the south of Sweden, and you would have people like Common back then. He was Common Sense.
Yeah, he kept you coming through. Okay.
Yeah. So it was a big thing. So organized in that sense, nothing informal. And then you would have people like Rascals from Canada. Besides Swedish acts like Loop Troop, of course.
Loop Troop, okay, no doubt. Yeah.
Important. Speaking of English, speaking rappers,
Yeah, I'm just even curious, like, as you think about, because you're really helping us with a bigger window into the Swedish hip hop scene, and just thinking about how important music is for Sweden, like where like how important now is hip hop for the Swedish musical identity? Like, where does that situate? Like, look at Finland, you have such a strong metal influence here, but honestly, like, hip hop is just as strong. And I don't know, it's hard to make that call. Obviously still dominant metal, but I mean, where is obviously y'all got like all the pop kings and the king makers there in Sweden and all that, but what's the hip hop identity in Sweden? Like, where would you say, is it still sort of sub, or is it like main, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, so I think that there's been a huge split when it comes to, let's put it like this, being a bit irreverent, rap music.
Okay.
So if you look at it as only rap to beat,
I get it.
If you limit hip hop to rapping and beats, there's been a big split between the kind of hip hop that's produced in the suburbs, which brings kind of the street reality, heavily influenced by the UK drill scene, and the kind of what's called old school hip hop, the 90s hip hop, that tries to maintain the roots. You've got a DJ, you've got someone scratching, you've got MCs, working the craft, and you try to bring in the other elements as well. So there's a huge split, I would say, which reflects maybe a split in society as well.
Okay. Interesting. I want to talk a little bit about, I mean, you've been through so many different, like, you've got a real range of, things that you put out, and would love to just dive more deep into, like, the really defining moments in your story, because obviously you're part of a crew that was super influential. You had some, prolific releases, you had some kind of life-altering moments. I mean, I just really want to speak to, like, as you look through your career, like, how do you, like, what's the story of, how are you describing the story of your journey?
Yeah. So, hip hop for me was the language of the disenfranchised, of the excluded, and having grown up in a religious minority, and also
so Pentecostal is religious minority there. I mean, compared to Lutheran and maybe something.
It is, and also financial minority. We were not as well off as the average Swede. I mean, we were 5 siblings. That is like,
wow, that's deep.
That's like 30% of the population in a village we would move to.
Okay, no doubt.
So I grew up with I would call it a financial wound. It's like I needed vengeance in a way, and I needed a voice. I needed someone to speak for me, And when I discovered hip hop, I you know, even growing up in a country, a welfare state like Sweden, which is a rich country, but the voice of disenfranchised Black young men would resonate in me. They were saying things, and they were taking a position that I recognized as something that was me. So I wanted to be that rapper. I wanted to have that voice.
Okay.
So hip hop became that voice.
Yeah.
I fell in love with hip hop. It was a true, like a true crush. But also it was instrumental to affect vengeance on society.
Okay.
So as I was growing as a rapper and gaining influence on the scene, I was also struggling to find peace, peace of mind, because I was governed by these emotions, these contradictory emotions of wanting to show who I was. So even though I was growing, I still felt little, in a sense.
Was that coming out in your music? Were you expressing it in music, or this was just held inside? You held a lot of this inside.
Yeah, I'd say it was held inside. It was it was ignored. I mean, definitely. So I wouldn't have those reflective songs where I would kind of say, actually I'm doubting myself,
Okay.
But I would say I know what I'm doing. Yeah. And all this would lead up to an experience that I had when I was 19. I was at university. And I had what I would call a fresh encounter with God, like the God that I grew up with, the faith that I grew up with no influence from other people. I wasn't in church. No one was, trying to make me do anything. But I started to do something that I hadn't done in a long time. I started to pray, and it was like God moved into the room where I was sitting. Like a few minutes ago, I was listening to beats, freestyling, whatever, and then all of a sudden, I'm just crying. I'm just asking God, forgive me. I've been so, I'm so lost. So that was a turning point for me, and I felt that since my anger had become entangled with my musical achievements, I needed to step back. I couldn't stay on the scene anymore. I had to back down. So in the fall of 2000, I stepped down. I stopped rapping. I quit the group.
Because at that time you're saying you were in school and rapping. You basically still, like, were you as a teacher or something like that, pursuing?
I was studying English at university to become a high school teacher. Yeah.
You got it. Yeah. And so then so you quit the group, still stayed in school, or where did the transition take you from there?
Yeah, sure. So when I started university in like August 2000, I wasn't focused at all on studies. I was just rapping, traveling around, drinking and partying and having the time of my life. In a certain sense. So university studies were really like not prioritized. But when I dropped music, I continued. I pursued my course and graduated. I mean,
Okay.
pursued my graduation and graduated as a teacher 5 years later. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And so then you sort of, did you go right into teaching from there, or did it raise questions of like, yeah, what's my vocation now? Or, I mean, these are some huge moments, you know, in people just trying to find their way, trying to figure out their purpose in life and their direction. So what was that? Where were you drawn to? What were you pursuing then?
Yeah. So at the same time as it was a huge relief and release to be able to, you know, not negate those emotions, you know, to let them flourish, you know, and to be kind of transparent.
That's right.
I also struggled a lot. I didn't really know exactly what to do. So I didn't know if I wanted to become a teacher. But one day I worked as a substitute teacher. Went to like a junior high school, and I felt how I connected with the teenagers. I felt like, oh man, I could really do this. You know, I'm good at this. Yeah, this is my thing, you know. I would say that my vocation of communication was in a way confirmed, but in another setting.
Yeah, interesting. And so then, obviously, your life is being transformed. Your mind is being renewed, your heart's being renewed. Obviously, you got a different focus now. But, you know, you're distancing yourself from kind of all the bad influences of the culture and the community. But, like, what was the soundtrack of that season? I mean, was music still a part of your story, or was it also you needed a big reset, even full scope reset? Or how would you even describe the soundtrack of that chapter of your life?
Yeah. So, I had to quit like rapping, and also I needed to single out the voices that I was hearing at the moment. So I couldn't really, you know, anger didn't resonate with me anymore.
Yeah.
So in a way, I turned off the MC voice in my head. Which I would come back to. That voice didn't die totally. But I changed that for singing, for worship. All of a sudden, music was not an instrument for communication.
Interesting.
But all of a sudden, it was like a vertical movement, like from me upwards and upwards, downwards. So there was God changed music in my heart, like put a new song in my heart. So I would be deeply moved by songs that I would hear. However, it wouldn't take long before I discovered like underground MCs with a Christian message from the US, with you know, people like Timothy Brindle, who dropped an album called The Awakening. And I was amazed to see that, man, you can do both, you know. You can be dope and you can be godly at the same time. So
Lamp Mode was one of the first crews that you kind of got exposed to.
Lamp Mode.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, that was but still, because of it felt more like the East Coast type of stuff. Or was it just was it the only one that you're exposed to, or was it you started getting exposed and that one felt like the more familiar to your background?
I think that's what I had a friend who also came from the hip hop scene during the same time. Today he's a priest in the Lutheran Church, but he's a hip hop dude. He introduced me to these people. So I wasn't pursuing it, but he showed me. Also, my brother was listening to some stuff, and my brother introduced me to Propaganda,
Yeah.
who is a West Coast rapper, an LA artist.
And you got a track with him now. We're gonna definitely speak on that. We're gonna speak on that for sure, for sure. We really want to hear that story. So definitely. So you're getting Lamp Mode, you're getting Tunnel Rats influence, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. So from east to west, kind of the similar kind of arc. The story arc kind of comes full circle, you know.
Yeah.
But so that was starting to kind of spark something. So take us from there to then, when did you feel like, now, okay, I hit the reset, I stepped away, but now I see a different lane that I could express myself. Yeah. So how long did that journey kind of take before you said, wait, now it's time to get back in the game? Yeah,
like around 2003, I did a small comeback together with this friend of mine. Mentions
the one that's called
Vertical was his name as an MC. So and we did kind of like Lamp Mode, radical Jesus rap in a way. We even did a few performances, but somehow it didn't really land in everyday life. I was finishing my studies. Yeah. My wife was starting to miss Brazil. We were in a different part of life. So, however, that was important for me. It was important for me to once more, stand in a studio in a booth and record stuff. That was liberating. But then I ended up in Brazil, and I disconnected from Sweden in that sense even further. So I would kind of keep the flame up sporadically. Sometimes someone would send me something. This friend would send me a CD. Shy Linne, which is also also Lamp Mode. And it would keep the fire kind of glowing. Okay. And it wasn't until 2018 when I was invited to be a part of an EP with a worship collective called Pioneer in English. Okay. They invited me to
Swedish collective. Okay. Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Sure. So I was on their EP, and that was the first time, like after 18 years or something, that I really felt, oh man, it's like God is shining on music. Okay. I'm not doing this just to prove myself. I'm doing it because I'm doing it because I love it. I'm happy. Yeah. And I want to. There are no strings attached to it. I'm not trying to manipulate. I'm not trying to produce an effect or
it's the fire shut up in your bones, basically. Like you have to get this out,
Yeah, so that was really a defining moment for me to see that music once again resonated within me, but without the vengeance stuff.
Yeah. And did you? So you're getting connected to Sweden. What about there locally? Because now kind of checking out your catalog. I mean, English, Swedish, Portuguese. I even heard. I think I heard Spanish.
Yeah.
And Deutsch and you punch in 5 tickets there, brother. I mean, so the local scene though. So did you guys, when you guys transplanted, you went to Sao Paulo right away? Yeah. Is that where your wife's from, basically? But did you connect with the local community, or was it all you were just still getting the hip hop from across the sea, basically? Or
basically from across the sea. So people would send me beats, and I'd record at home and send it back. Okay. I've made a few connections with the local hip hop scene, and I'm hoping to expand that, but at the moment it's pretty much from here to Sweden. But
interesting.
It would be awesome to. I have a few projects and plans.
Well, you got some tracks in Portugal. You got one that you did in Sweden. What was that? Capital City. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, both of those were. I mean, it's like it's sick that you could flip, that you could take two different languages and flip the same song. I mean, and somehow, I mean, that's interesting. It'd be interesting to see. So you haven't really explored that locally, though, even though you put out some tracks and all that. Okay, interesting.
That's right.
Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit then about some of these, because as far as I could tell, so obviously a lot of. I mean, how many projects overall do you have? I was trying to do a count. I mean, or you even got a count on that, because you got pretty prolific. I mean,
yeah. So kind of a lot of stuff. Yeah, I had an album. An album in English.
Okay, so you did have you do have it, because I was going to ask is because I know you're working on. We're going to talk about the Morning Star, and I was curious if that was in English.
Sure.
Yeah, and then, but the thing is that, I mean, so it's a majority of the catalogs in Swedish, I imagine. And
so I have also two albums released only on cassette. Together with a Gothenburg producer called B-Rock. That's really underground stuff. Right?
Is this the 23 thing? It was what was it? 23.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that one of them? Okay, yeah. I think I saw that tape reference.
23 till infinity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's on there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I heard. That's where you pulled off the 5 languages, I think. That one line or something. Actually, did you have Spanish on there, or did it was?
Yeah.
Am I not? Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was mixing Portuguese with that, but anyway, so this, but you're living real life. I mean, you got a family. Obviously, now you've transplanted to a whole new country, so you're living in kind of a new context. Are you a teacher there as well? Did you take your career over there as well? Okay, so you're teaching your family. I mean, you're juggling all this, but then now this burning desire is surfacing, and even, I mean, I think it even comes out in some of your bars. You had this thing where I think you were saying like you got to tend to your daughter or something, but you're still at it trying to write your Illmatic, postponing responsibilities or whatever, just like I'm curious to know, like how are you finding the time? I mean, that's what I think a lot of us, sort of grown folk rap, you got to attend the responsibilities. So what does that rhythm look like? What is that creative? What does this season of creativity look like for you? Yeah,
so I've had a few very prolific years, and my upcoming album Morning Star is this your
Illmatic? You said you're still trying to write your Illmatic. Is this forthcoming? Okay,
maybe might be, and I started working on this album like at least two years ago. So 2 or 3 years ago. So many of these tracks have been ready to be mixed for a long time now. Right now, I'm having difficulties finding time to record and write. So I'm in a period of my life where I'm just having to focus on work and
I get it,
and the responsibilities.
That's right.
Once in a while, I sneak away and try to
What would that look like? Is it late night when people are asleep, when the whole family's asleep? Is it like early before everyone gets up? I mean, if you find a time, where do you usually find it?
Yeah, so I work from home. I give classes online.
Nice.
And so when the family's out, I do have the liberty to sit down and write and rap. That is possible when I do find the time.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about a couple of these things you're working on for Morning Star. Because I couldn't tell. I know it sounds like West Coast Flows for sure is going to be on there. Are some of these other singles going to be like this? The one you dropped with Prop. The C.S. Lewis joint. So that is that on the album as well? Because it looked like they had similar kind of single covers. Is that one for the album?
Yeah, that's going to be on it, as well as my last single, which is with Extra Prolific from the Hyro crew.
That's right.
So,
Okay.
So you would have 3 singles, and ironically, I don't know, but there are 2 authentic West Coast flows on there with
Okay, that's right. Prop it. That's right. Yeah, 100%.
So,
Yeah. Wow.
I didn't plan it, but
You didn't plan it. Okay,
it's
starting the trend that way. Okay, that's interesting. We'll definitely kind of keep links for people, and we're going to shout you out, making sure that people can find you, support you, and keep tabs. I mean, but yeah, obviously, you're living that grown folk life. You know, it's going to come out when it comes out. But do you have a sense? Is this something for the next year that's going to drop, possibly? Or?
Yeah, I'm looking at November, hoping to get this joint out in November. So yeah, hopefully this year already.
Oh, next month. Okay, already this year. Okay, so everybody check out, keep tabs on that. Let's run it up. I mean, I don't if you drop the pre-release, keep tabs on his Instagram. We'll put that link. We want to make sure also
just add it in the description as well.
That's right. We'll leave all this in the thing, but any other things that people should be keeping track of. Just to, we'll definitely get your social connected, but anything you guys want to say for this upcoming album or in general, like what you're looking to do in hip hop now in this stage of your life?
Yeah, so I think hip hop still has a unique voice.
Yeah,
hip hop is still the voice of the excluded and disenfranchised.
Yeah,
and as such, hip hop definitely has a role to play in the construction of a society where people meet, where they do not divide and only argue. Of course, you have to call out issues, and that will cause sometimes differences in opinion. It's necessary, and you have to call out injustices. But I think rap has a unique task, and hip hop as a culture has a task of being a uniting force. Sometimes it needs to be it needs to divide. It needs to call out the errors of society. But I think it's important that we as rappers or carriers of this culture try to mend the wounds.
Yeah, that's really well said, and I really encourage everyone. Really, you're listening to one of the OGs here, true school rapper. Really put his mark not only on the Swedish scene, but I mean this guy you could just see from just this short little time. So much substance there, so much depth to add to the hip hop culture at large. So really appreciate this time, Seron. You really blessed us, inspired us. We're here cheering you on. We're definitely going to be running up that project when you drop. But really appreciate you having you on, and I think we're looking forward to seeing not just what you're going to do there in with this project, but what you're going to do for the bigger culture. So appreciate you, brother.
My privilege. Thank you.
Yeah. Wish you well, man.
Yeah, it was great to have you, and really happy to learn about your music, and looking forward for the new releases as well.
Yes, sir.
And we'll definitely keep people posted as well. Thanks, Seron. Shout out.
Thanks. Shout out.
Salute. All right. Yes, sir. All right.
Peace.
Yeah, peace.